folks. Here we are again in Hero Wars. I hate to be the dead parrot sketch at this point, but given what we've been up to in our guild wars lately, it's become apparent, sadly, that it looks like Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit or whatever he wants to call himself in guild wars at the moment. Sorry if I'm assuming gender. Is definitely cheating. Here's the log. So here's today. We're up against Refugium again. And I have 3 heavy hitters in my guild that should have taken this guy out. Here he is, Fahrenheit, again. This player, again. Now, I don't expect to win when I go up against him, I'll be honest. I expect maybe do a little bit of finer damage. You know, by finer, I mean practically pointless. But Danny here he's not one to scoff at. I mean, yeah, he's not quite, I mean, he's half the power, but he should have at least scratched this guy. But this is what we get. And then here we go again. And Sloth. You know, again, half the power, but should still have, you know, done something. And these players weren't even scoring 1 point, although I think Sloth managed to score 2 at one point. Yeah, so Danik managed to score 1, that's 2 in total. Sloth managed to score 2 on his second. Then I've had Explosimight try, no points. Dragnus is one of our older players, no points, but you know, he keeps forgetting to update his teams, I think. Darkness, one of our heaviest hitters, almost coming up, but again, nothing. Yeah, but these, you know, our heaviest hitters didn't even really scratch him. And then our slower end players, who are, you know, still relatively new to level 130 play, are doing the damage. And I don't mean a whole lot of damage, obviously, 1 or 2 points. There's me on my sister's account, no damage. Me on my main account, no damage. Bagata should have, you know, picked up on the damage that he took. Jays, again, no damage. And yet, players of similar strength to him we're taking out. It makes no sense. And that's not the oddest of things we noticed. So we do, as I said, we work as a team over here. We communicate. And this is, you know, I'm not going to show it for reasons they've asked not to be shown for a start. Is that one of the things we do is we talk to each other and other guild leaders. Now, there's another guild who's been in gold repeated times, they know who they are, who have also come against Fahrenheit and still can't scratch him, and their players are a lot more advanced than he is in level and still nothing. But the weird thing we've noticed, and I noticed it on the off chance today while I was sipping on my cup of tea, was while I was attacking Fahrenheit, my auto randomly turns off. Now, I didn't press it. I was busy sipping on my cup of tea as it happened. There, look. See? It gets turned off. And then it'll just randomly come back in when I only have Hyperion left. By the time I'd noticed it was off, I was coming back across the room with my cup of tea to come and turn it on, realizing, you know, oh, yeah, I've probably lost this. And I thought I'd lost it from the beginning. You can see by the levels that, I was thinking, yeah, you know, I'm probably not going to do anything. But for your auto to suddenly turn on and off mid-battle without you even touching it, there's something fishy. And then there's Borgatas, yeah, we did the reports. But Jays did some investigation for me. And he also noticed that it shut off on Borgata's fight, but it also shut off on Hellspawn's fight and Sloth's fight. That's not a coincidence at this point. I didn't want to assume the worst of this guy, but that is honestly not a coincidence. When you get to the point where you are fighting against these players and your auto is turning off on its own and then turning back on. It seems more than suspect. So, yeah. There's J's. I don't want to copy it. Didn't want to do that one either. Still pressing the wrong one. So, you'll see what I mean. And the other thing that I'm finding odd is it's not showing what's going on, the thing that we're experiencing in battle. The water totem is going off constantly when we're fighting it. Now, the next time we're against Refugium, I do plan to try and catch this. Unless, of course, Feriehit wises up and stops cheating. I mean, I find it sad that there is a player that feels the need to have to cheat to win. It's a sad state of things, and I'm sure something has driven him to that desperation. But yeah, as you can see, Jay's barely even scratches him. And the next time he comes in and attacks him, he does 11 points. You see what I mean? It's just weird, and this is on hit or miss. So as you can see, on hit or miss, we are actually doing some damage. And Jay's, as you can see, is one of our stronger players. It's boggling. And it's sad to see that they've got maybe one, possibly two cheaters over in Refugium. It's a very sad state of affairs, but Feriehit is definitely their biggest cheater. And it's been ever since they took in some players from a gold league. Feriehit wasn't one of those from a gold league, but it was from what we called a gold league team back where, before they could really hold their own up in gold. Now, I get that they've probably felt under pressure to win. I get the feeling they still feel under pressure to win, especially with the problem we've got in this server with gate blocking. That thing I talked about in another video where we've got guilds that block progression in the leagues. Like these guys. Oh, Kirst is up in third step this time. Good luck, Kirst. Hope you get back up to gold. So, yeah. I hate to say it, Black Eagle have been a gate blocker on and off. This one is a gate blocker. That's a gate blocker. It looks like they're deliberately dropping down to the lower end of silver. Who have we got in bronze coming up? I actually feel sorry for Avengers. Oh, Bros is on the way back up. This is another one it was a guild that came in from another server, and they just came in and completely messed up everything by bringing in all the gold players from there. So yep, that's another gate blocker. That's another gate blocker. You might even remember them in silver last week. And, these aren't falling down through non-progression. These are falling down because what's happening is the players in them are being told not to do anything until a certain day. They deliberately keep themselves under a certain number of points so that they drop down the ranks. And it's also these gold leagues. And Vanguardians I'm not convinced, but they might not be. Ninja Warriors, I think, is the only official team up here that doesn't cause trouble. I apologise, Vanguardians. To be honest, I've never run into Vanguardians, so to be fair, I can't actually say for true on them. But with Huren, Apikawa, Contrail, Utakata. Now, Utakata is almost always in and out of gold, and it's almost deliberate to knock out Cursed of Souls, who is constantly fighting to get back in as a Black Eagle. But Refugium is never out of the top 4, ever. And it all comes down to this member. It's... I'm sad. I'm even speechless. And I knew it was going to come, that I might have to actually physically accuse him of cheating. And I'm sorry, but given the evidence I'm seeing from other players and hearing from other guilds, I really do think he is cheating, and it's a shame because he has got some good teams together. It's just a shame that he's felt a need to cheat. And I'm sorry for whatever's driven him to that point on that scale. And I get that there's a certain level of desperation in this game that can drive people to that, especially when we've got certain teams that do make it impossible for other players. You know, I still refuse to resort to that because that doesn't make me any better than them. Maybe he's a poor player who can't afford to pay anything in the game, which then just pulls into question even more on how he's got his team like that, if he's a poor player. Or, which is more likely, someone who doesn't want to spend because he's like, oh, well, the Asians are playing this and they're better at it than us, so I'm going to cheat, which is a probable more likely. I'm sorry, but Asian players kind of have these games down to a T when you don't have their cheaters involved. And I'm not saying that all Asians cheat. A lot of them really do throw their all into games, and they really are just better at it. But there are those that cheat, and I have encountered those in other games, such as King of Avalon. And it's sad when people are driven to that. So yeah, if you could, Hero Wars, can you please look into that guy's account? It would be much appreciated. If it is a glitch, can you get it fixed? But if it is a cheat, can you get it sorted? Either way, part of me still quietly hoping for it to be a glitch, but I don't think I can say it is a glitch anymore. Not with everything we've seen. So yeah, it's just that member. Please, Hero Wars, can you really actually investigate his account? If it is a cheat, get it sorted. If it is a glitch, try and fix it. If not, can you publicly come out and explain how it is his totem, when we fight him, is able to go off every half second, but yet in the replay it doesn't show anything? And how is it his account is able to turn off our auto and then randomly turn it on before we can even get back to the screen? I don't think he's spying on us through a camera. That would be a bit extreme, and a bit out there in the conspiracy theory end of things, I guess. But there is something going on with his account. I mean, we've had battles with him where I fought him and you saw it in the log, where I fought him and my auto turned off on its own. Our totem powers don't go off, but his will go off constantly. And yet when we watch the replays, you won't see those totem powers. It just seems suspect and needs investigating. So if it's a glitch, fix it. If it's a cheater, do what you got to do with cheaters. That's all I can ask. Okay. See you on the other side, folks.